go and add it here. Like, I mean, that's awesome, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be about Meshery. I mean, like, so this is again an open source project, right? Like, so we're trying to be like open about everything. So that's awesome. I mean, glad to know that, like, there's a chance, like, we will be meeting in Amsterdam again. That's awesome, actually. I mean, it's great. All right, so it's six. It's almost seven past the start time. So to start with, again, like, so the first topic here this week, the interesting thing this week was, of course, like, Lee is off at AWS reInvent. He's had a very busy day. Like, we haven't had much time to catch up. And then I think Lee already did this, which is that, like, he actually wanted to share the logos with the team, with all the community members, like, in the community drive. So if you guys have access to the community drive, which I'm pretty sure, like, every team member, like, at least, like, people on the call should have access to. So feel free to check it out and let us know if you have any issues accessing them. And then the next thing is, yeah, so this is like a general thing, this is for mostly for newcomers. Like, I know most people here have already signed up, subscribed to the notifications. So feel free to subscribe to, Meshery itself, Layer 5, so that, you get informed of all the stuff. The other one is, this was again, like, this is again a topic from last week. I just left it here. If at all, like, we wanted to discuss about this, the UEM Jaipur partnership. We reached out to the university, and some profs have actually responded back very positively. And one of the things was, I think Lee put this there, that Nuno's Windows demo of Meshery will probably be used for what's called the demo days. Probably I think Shubham has a better context here. And the second point here, seek Nuno's participation in demo days. We'll let you know, but it'll be great if you are interested in participating in the demo days thing.
Right. I didn't really follow last week about like what it is, like say the format per se, but I clearly remember and I maintain it. So there's the video of like 2 weeks ago, I think, that was quite extensive on how to install Meshery, CTL, and just run it with Docker desktop for Windows. Still, if there's a need for, let's say, a live session, if the time permits, of course, I think I have like 3.5 hours, depending on where in India, delay. The thing is, like, just let me know when exactly,
Awesome.
and see if I can free myself.
Fantastic. So this is an action item for Lee. I'll leave it like this. Maybe mark it with red so that it captures our attention. Once he's back, I think we should be able to see that. Awesome. The next one is, I think this is again, like, an old one, like, where the students probably asked for it, and I think, like, Lee probably also thought about it, like, which is to give them a Git 101 or a GitHub specific training, which is again yet to be done. Again, like, this is a topic from last week, so I'm just bringing over topics from last week so that, like, we can just hit on the right things. So this was the other thing which was suggested by Jesus, which was about making our CI a bit more intelligent, like, determining where the changes were made, and accordingly, like, trigger changes, trigger the builds, trigger the checks, etc. We have not made any progress on this week because we were sort of, I would say, like, partly busy with the CFP, and then we are also working on some other stuff which I'll probably share in the next few minutes. I'm not going to go deep into this notifications Slack discussion because I think there were some decisions that were made, and we will be executing this in the following week. Again, Lee is usually the person, like, doing this, and he was not here, so it'll get done next week. Now, oh, cool, Anton is here. Hello, Anton. Hey, thanks for joining. All right, so this is again another update, which I think probably Lee shared last week. So Layer 5 is now part of the Linux Foundation and CNCF. So if you go to the CNCF landscape pages, you will find Layer 5's logo there, which was very exciting because when I was submitting the CFPs, there's a question which actually asks if you are part of an end user org, and obviously I've presented at so many KubeCons, but still, I keep forgetting, what the heck that means. So I try to go back to the CNCF landscape to figure that out, and I found the Layer 5 logo there, so which was very impressive and it was very exciting. The next thing is that I'm sorry. Did somebody want to speak something?
I said great news. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excited.
Yeah.
Excited here.
Nice. I mean, a little more context there is I think Lee probably has been talking to the community about this benchmarking spec. So there is this new foundation that's going to be part of Linux Foundation, and he has already reached out to the creators of that foundation, and and the reason why we joined that foundation is actually that we wanted to create the service mesh benchmark spec. We have a version of it in our Layer 5 org, but it's very preliminary. So we are trying to tag team with that other team who have much more experience and expertise with benchmarking and things. So so we want to work with them and kind of I think we'll have the right audience there to actually help us move that spec forward. So that was the reason why we actually joined Linux Foundation. Now, the good thing with joining CNCF is that if you're already a member of Linux Foundation, you get some discounts joining CNCF. So so that was kind of a nice thing. So overall, now we are part of two foundations, and it's really awesome. So the yeah, so this is pretty much essentially what I was talking about, Anton. So which is the spec, and it'll be soon part of the Linux Foundation project, etc. So those are pretty much the high level topics I wanted to touch on. Now the other interesting update this week was that Dheeraj, has been kind of silently making some good progress with the CPX adapter for Meshery. And the great thing is that today he is joining the call, and he's going to actually give us a demo of his progress on the CPX adapter. He's still working through some of the challenges of getting the data plane deployed, but I think he has some of the control plane components deployed. So Dheeraj, I'm going to give you the ball. I know you have to leave in about 15 minutes, so I'm going to give you the ball. Feel free to take the ball and present.
Yeah. Thanks, Girish, for that. I think 50 minutes are good enough for me. Yes. Okay.
The present now button is at the right bottom, just to let you know.
No, I actually clicked it, but it's taking some time for me
Gotcha.
to share. Okay. So first of all, can you see my screen? Can you see something here?
Yeah, we do. We can.
Great. And another thing, can you see this window also?
Yes, we sure can.
Okay, great. So what I have done that on my Kubernetes cluster, I have on my Kubernetes cluster, I have these services running. So this is the one which actually it has been created. So there is already that particular repository which was created, right? I made some changes so that I can bring the CPX related components into this one. So I think before going into that demo, I should just quickly recap, as I mentioned in one of my earlier calls, that this Citrix CPX service mesh, it is based on this Istio service mesh itself. And we do actually deploy the Citrix CPS proxy as an ingress gateway and as a sidecar proxy in the in our application. So, and for that one, we do create. So right now you won't be able to see it, but we'll be actually deploying the Istio and all the services are in the Istio system namespace, and then I'll be like deploying primarily the ingress gateway. We create a namespace, some Citrix system, and I'll be like deploying a gateway in uh, in that Citrix system namespace, with CPX acting as a gateway, and I will be deploying a sidecar injector, CPX sidecar injector. So it is just like our like Istio sidecar injector, right? It is the webhook service running, which will be like deploying the CPX as a sidecar along with the application. So I'm just actually accessing the GUI of that particular box. So you guys can see all these things, right?
Yeah. Yes, we can.
Yeah. So I just like some changes where actually I'm running on this port 110 years. So this thing is actually running. Okay, I can do probably to from here. This is okay. You guys can stop me anytime. You guys can ask me any question. So I'll just do one quick thing. This is the cluster where things will be deployed. I can just show you whether there are any namespaces. You can see that, okay, there is nothing Istio system or um, there is no Istio system namespace, or neither there is one any other namespace. And I'll just do click on this one, install. I'll go with without MTLS one. It doesn't matter as of now because both the code wise MTLS and TLS thing deployment will be fine. I should have probably shown the logs here. Okay, fine. So these are, I kept running this one, the Meshery CPX pod which is running here. These were the logs here. I just kept it running. So, okay. So it is like trying, it is saying that, okay, it is returning some CPX URLs. These are all the debug prints which are coming up. So what it is essentially doing, that you might be knowing that it is first getting the Istio CRD's YAML files, then it is getting the Istio's deployment YAML files, and it downloads that one. I'm right now, since our CPX service mesh, it is based on the Istio version 1.3.0. It is, I'm getting the information of the deployment YAML files from that 130, and after that, I'm downloading from, we have this GitHub repository for the Citrix Istio adapter. So I'm downloading the deployment YAMLs file and this one from here, from my Meshery adapter code, and then retrieving the same and creating this. We'll just see. Creating all the services which are required here. So now we can see, right? So this thing has been deployed, and along with that, so this ingress gateway which has been deployed here, sidecar, these services are deployed. So you can see this ingress gateway, it is running fine, it is running here. So there is like that Istio adapter is there running. Along with that, there is a Citrix CPX proxy is also running, and then I have an exporter which actually sends the statistics from this. I mean, it is able to send the statistics from this ingress gateway to the Prometheus, and this is one sidecar injector. I mean, the deployment was, it has been done, but right now this is where I'm facing some challenges. I can probably show that one also here. So the challenge here is that this particular sidecar injector, it relies, so like a webhook service, right? It will be having the communication with the Cube API server. So for that one, for proper communication, I need to have properly certificate set up properly, and I do so. It is usually the self-signed certificate from that Cube API server itself, that I will be like doing the kubectl approve CSR. I'll be basically generating a certificate. I'll be like verifying the CSR. That CSR will be approved and then the secret will be created, Kubernetes secret will be created from those certificates. So this is generally happens as part of one of the script, and that is where I'm right now facing a challenge. That particular script, I know, I mean, I can fire the script from the CPX one, but my main issue right now is actually somewhere revolving around that, because of which I'm not able to create a secret. I mean, secret is not created because that particular certificates, that secret was not found. So some issues were there this side. So I'll be like working on this particular part. But apart from that, as I showed here, that ingress gateway is actually coming up properly. And if this thing also, sidecar injector also comes up properly, so we'll be like, we would have deployed all the necessary components needed for this CPX service mesh. I think that's it from my side as of now.
Awesome. Yeah, this is wonderful, Dheeraj. Yeah, it's great progress, man.
Hey, thanks. So the code for this one is actually I have right now worked a branch. It is there here. This particular, so far the changes so far have been actually already pushed here in this one. And I will work on this one. So once this thing actually comes in the proper shape, I will get it back to our like layer 5 Meshery CPX branch.
Awesome. That's wonderful.
So yeah, and maybe Girish and others to the other member side, if I actually get into some issue with respect to that while solving this problem, I'll ask you guys for some help or some
Awesome.
point.
Yeah, please feel free to.
I will work on that.
Yeah, please feel free to actually ping us. Use the Meshery channel liberally. I'm pretty sure, like all the team members, like here, would be very happy to actually help you. Take this and help you solve this problem. Yeah, this is awesome, wonderful. Thanks a lot, Dheeraj, for making the time to actually join the call and present this awesome progress.
Hey, thanks, Girish. Thanks. Pleasure is mine.
Cool.
Thanks.
All right, that was awesome.
Okay, fine. I'll make you. I mean, rather, I will stop presenting. I think you can make yourself presenter.
Awesome. Yes, that'll be great. Wonderful.
Thank you. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Going back to our meeting minutes. Oh. Okay. And it says I cannot present. All right. Like this is hilarious. Okay, so the browser is now saying that I cannot present for some weird reason. So I'm not sure.
Actually,
yeah.
Present. I mean, it is giving you option of like present now.
Interesting.
Or something like that.
I'm not too sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I mean, it's interesting. Like, usually it works. And unfortunately, maybe it's a browser thing for me today. I don't know. But I mean, like, everybody on the call, like, will usually see the present now button. But I mean,
yeah.
But when we try to present, like, it usually lets us to present. I was presenting earlier in the call, so I don't know what's going on. But it's all right. I don't need to grab the ball. But so essentially, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to our meeting minutes. I'm going to ensure all the all the members who have joined today's call are listed. In our meeting minutes. I see Jesus as well. Hey, Jesus, I didn't even notice. Like, you joined. Hey, thanks for joining the call. This is awesome.
Thanks.
Cool.
Thanks.
Cool, guys. Now I'm going to give you guys a ball.
Hector Cruz is also a new member from Mexico.
Yeah. I saw him join the call before. Yeah, I think I saw him join the call before you did, and I even tried to greet him. So which is wonderful. I mean, like, it'll be wonderful, like, if all the members, like, from the OSOM, like, channel are able to join this call. This will be wonderful.
Yes, thank you very much, guys, for accepting me and inviting me. I will try to start listening initially, and later I will try to participate through Jesus and the Mexico community.
That's wonderful, guys. Hey, thanks a lot, Hector. Hey, that's wonderful. Yeah, I mean, like, this is wonderful. In the sense, like, this is great, right? I mean, this is essentially, like, what this community is for. I mean, like, come here, learn. You don't have any pressure to present, but I mean, if you want to present, I mean, like, this is definitely, we try to give you the stage and and let you do your thing, right? So that's wonderful. Feel free to share this message on the OSOM channel and bring more members to this call, which will be wonderful. Now, it's almost 30 minutes, since we started. I am looking at the meeting minutes. Unfortunately, I'm not able to share the screen. I'm sorry about that. Now, is there anything else you guys, any of you guys want to talk about? I just have like a very tiny thing to talk about, but you know what? I'm going to do it at the end. So, do you guys have anything else to talk about? Does Anton, Jesus, Hector, Nuno, or anybody want to actually present? Shubham, don't feel. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to leave out anybody's name, but I'm trying to give you guys a stage because at the moment I don't have anything else to talk about. So if you guys have something to share, that'll be wonderful. Anton, I already actually shared the information that you have you have created a request to run a workshop at the KubeCon EU 2020. You can find it in our meeting minutes in the general topic section, pretty much the first one.
Yeah, I saw that.
Awesome.
Yeah, actually, the thought that I had when I created the proposal, it was basically the last day that I could submit a proposal, so I didn't think about it too much. But in general, I was thinking that maybe sharing it with the community would be the right thing, so we could maybe think a little bit together about what would be the best way to present it, what would be the best way to create the proposal to make it more compelling, to give it a higher chance to get accepted, because showing Meshery at KubeCon would probably be a good thing for the project.
Absolutely. You know what? That's perfect line of thoughts.
Anyway, that vote already left. So, but I want to submit the same workshop to other conferences. So, I think I'll probably share the CFP, the proposal, the way I submitted it to the KubeCon on Slack. And if anybody has any ideas, corrections, I'd love to hear that.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that'll be great. And actually, we even have the Google Drive. If you want to, you can actually put your paper in the Google Drive. So everybody who is part of Meshery community will have access to it. So this is wonderful. This is wonderful, Anton.
Yeah, basically, the idea is to show Meshery and how it works with maybe the three leading meshes. I thought of going with Istio, Linkerd, and Console probably. And then what would be very nice to present is how you can run a benchmark using Meshery on each one of these meshes. So that's probably the part that I'm less experienced with. And if anybody has any good ideas about what would be a compelling way of running a benchmark and showing results, I'd love any input.
That's awesome. Yeah. Perfect thought. I'm pretty sure there'll be members who are willing to collaborate. You can definitely see some input from me and Lee. We'd be very happy to work with you on that. That's awesome. All right.
Cool. Thanks. Looking forward to that.
Yeah. Awesome. Hey Haim, thanks a lot for joining the call. I'm pretty sure Lee is actually not in today. So we are running the call without him. I'm very happy to actually see you join the call. I heard you and Lee applied for a talk at the KubeCon EU 2020 as well.
That's true. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Hope for better luck this time.
Nice. Yeah, that's excellent. So I'm opening the deck for everybody else. If you guys have anything to talk about or you want to discuss anything here, feel free to, because I don't have much to present. The last thing I would want to talk about is actually, unfortunately, I'm not able to share my screen, but the last thing is actually the issues that are open this week and the issues that are closed this week. We are usually used to seeing much more issues opened and closed. One thing to note is that the team in India are one of the major workhorses for Meshery, because they have been the ones helping open a lot of issues and close them. But this week they had some exams, so pretty much the number of the issues opened and closed pretty much evidently speaks to itself, I think. One of the interesting things that recently happened was, if you guys have heard about Maestra, which is actually a service mesh which is based off of Istio, but it is by OpenShift. So what they did was they actually added their extra sauce. They made it, I think, multi-tenant. They actually created a PR against our landscape, and I merged that PR 2 days back. So which was actually wonderful. So if you guys go to the landscape today, you'll be able to see Mesra as another entry to the landscape, which is a service mesh by OpenShift, which is based off of Istio. So that is one interesting thing, which I thought would be interesting to the community who are paying attention to the landscape. Other than that, so there are quite a few tiny issues that were closed. But other than that, I don't have much to speak. Now, in general, people who are interested in taking on the issues and want to work on stuff, you are free to go into any of the repos and find the issues that don't have a name assigned to it, and you're free to actually assign your name and start working on them. And again, please use the Slack channel as liberally as you can. And I'm pretty sure, either me or Lee or anybody in the community will be able to actually help you with, answers much faster. That's pretty much what I wanted to say. So other than that, I'm going to leave the stage open. Feel free to actually talk about anything you guys want to talk about.
Sorry. I will just bring one point, but again, that's on my way to learn the world of service mesh. There's now a couple, maybe it's a good question for Haim actually. There's a couple, let's say, integrations that are being now getting into Meshery, but it's products at the end of the day. They represent companies, right? Are those, once they are integrated with Meshery, free to use? Do they have any licensing? What is a service mesh? Let's say, I don't know how to explain, but is there any licensing around service meshes nowadays, or not? Are they just simply free to use? Can we install them once we will get one K3 or sorry Kubernetes or K3s running, and then we can install these service meshes just for us? There's a question here because Octarine, now Citrix, and potentially Citrix/VMware are there, right? So does it make sense, this question? Sorry, it might be a really stupid question, but it's just for me to understand how free are we to use all the work that we are putting on.
So I can answer for Octarine specifically. The version that we have integrated with Meshery and available to use is obviously free. There's no licensing around it, no strings attached. The idea is for people to experiment with that. Also, obviously, there's no guarantees and no everything around what you get for a paid version, like support and so what we have with Meshery is meant to be freely used by the community.
Right. Perfect. Thank you. So, but it means that maybe somehow at some point we might want to reference, maybe on the website or something like that, that these are, let's say, the entry products or something like that, and then for future use or professional use, please contact then the companies. So it's kind of a win-win. So we enter here, we have our test beds, Meshery helps here, and the professional product, I'm sure, but it will be more okay, first you need to contact more Octarine then to be able to implement maybe the professional and paid version. Does it make sense? Sorry.
it does make sense to me. We need to see if there's where's the right place to put it on the website. But yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome, guys. That was a nice question by Nuno and an awesome answer. That was a great discussion. If there is nothing else, Jesus actually wanted to bring up a topic. Jesus, feel free to share your screen and bring up the issue, and let's talk about it.
Okay, let me check if I can share the screen.
Yep.
So can you see me, right?
Yes, we can see a screen.
Okay, I found some similar issues related like this. It's like there is a goaling error,
Okay.
and the goaling is the check is related to code review, check and review code,
Right.
and it's makes no sense because we are creating some branches based on master. And for example, we change some documentation, and when we create the pull request, there is the check error, and the problem is like the error isn't master, and how that error going to master if there is the check. I don't know if can I explain. I mean, for example, let me check. Meshery. For example, this one. This one, there is the same error. The error is the check and review code, but this pull request is only changing the README. So the issue here is that the error is in master. But how that error going to master if the check I was running?
Gotcha, Jesus. Actually, so if you go back to your if you go back to the meeting minutes, you will actually see that this is definitely a hot topic. We need to resolve this. So we do have that as a point. I even brought it from last week's discussion because this is definitely something we need to prioritize and give interest to. Because yes, you're right. So our CI flow is a bit dumb, right? So what it does is anything in the repo, it's going to run the same set of tests. Any changes you make, it is immaterial. What files you changed, it's always going to try to bring up the same set of tests. And and if there is an error, it's going to just raise the error. So we should actually make our CI process a little more intelligent. Absolutely. I think if we do that, it'll actually resolve your the problem you're showing right now. Because again, if we make it intelligent, it'll work across the board, right? It's not just in one repo, but it'll be across the board in all the repos, which will be wonderful, right? That. If somebody makes a change to a README or a document like for example in the Meshery has its docs folder, which does not contain any Go code or JavaScript code or HTML, CSS. I mean it's mainly of course it does contain HTML, CSS, JavaScript, but that is completely different from the rest of the site. So it will be nice if we can have some intelligent tests which determines where the changes were done, and accordingly kind of run the CI steps that are needed to kind of test those particular stuff. So yeah, we haven't done that, but definitely we do have it in our radar. We'll be coming to it probably in the next few weeks. Again, by we, I'm presenting the entire community, so it doesn't have to be me or Lee. If somebody else is interested to take this on, that'll be wonderful as well.
Yeah, but I think the error is also with the current version of the master branch has that error, and why there is the error in master if each commit of each push is checking this step.
Right. So the answer to that is now, as of today, we don't have these checks as enforcing in the sense that
Oh,
like yeah. So these are like a nice to have check. So they let you know that hey, you know what, there is this problem. But what happens is, sometimes like one of us would have accidentally accepted a PR which had the problem. So now what happens is every time something happens in the master, or when you branched off from master, you literally carry that change over. So so now your branch will actually start showing all those errors. So
okay.
until we fix this in the master, this is going to keep going on. What I can probably do is right after this call, I'll see if I can get the issue resolved in the master branch, so that we don't have this problem anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's this issue, right? The being fired in master.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
So for example, when there is there like about checking that if any issue to response, it will stall the issue or something like that? Because, for example, I don't know if I can take this one or assign to a member of O7 community
Mm-hmm.
because there is assigned to this person.
Oh. I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Now, unfortunately, Anand is not on the call. But Jesus, you know what? Can you actually, can you ask this question in the Meshery channel? And so this way you can actually ping Anand. I mean, Anand is right there. So if you ping him, I'm pretty sure he'll let you know if he's working on it, or you can take it. So either ways, it's like a win-win if you can actually bring it up in the Meshery channel.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Awesome, guys. That's wonderful. Anything else you guys want to talk about? All right. If you guys don't have anything else to talk about, we can end the call early, and you guys have a great weekend. See you guys next week. We are getting closer to Christmas.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you guys.
Uh,
Thank you,
See
Haim.
you.
Yeah, see you guys.